GitHub is used for multiple purposes. For example, to host your files or your projects on internet so that the world can see them. Or it is also used for deploying your projects. Another purpose of using GitHub can be to trace the history of the changes in the projects that you made throughout the process of building them up. So using GitHub, you can go back to the changes that you made in the past and can move accordingly in the future with your project. So GitHub is an interesting tool and let's explore it a bit today. So let me start off by going to the sign up page of GitHub. So if you are new to GitHub, you don't have an account. So how you can do it is in the following way. So we go to github.com and go for create an account. My system is slow, by the way, so it takes some time to load things up. Once it loads up, it will ask for our email ID. So let's say I enter some random email ID and I continue. It asks to create a password, and moving on, you need to enter your username. So it says that ASHH is not available. Therefore, you need to give something else. So I'm randomly typing something here. It asking, would you like to receive product updates? I'm saying I don't want to receive any product updates. And then you need to solve some puzzles, pick one square that shows two identical objects. Let's go with this. Pick one square that shows two identical objects. Let's go with this. Two done. Verify your account. So now you go for create account. And it has sent some code on your link on your email ID that you entered for registration. So just enter the code and I'll show you how it will look like after you log in. So once you verify the email ID and you go to github.com and log in, this is how it's going to appear. It's taking some time to load up. Yeah, this is how it's going to appear. There won't be any repositories as you are seeing here because I have created them. So if your account is fresh, there won't be any repositories. And here in the feed you see I'm following some people and they have recently posted things. So that appears in my feed. So how do you create a repository, and what is a repository, by the way? Repository is just a folder where you can store your files for a particular project. So for example, if I go to my repositories, I have a couple of them where I have stored my files related to some projects. So for example, ED and feature engineering, this is one folder in which I have a couple of files. So I have IPL data, I have house prices, advanced regression. These are the data files, and I can upload my PyNB file also after I'm done with my project. So this is basically a repository. EDA and feature engineering is a repository. Black Fridays, etc. is a repository. Banknote authenticator end-to-end, this is a repository where I have stored all the files that are related to this project. So this is my data file. This is the IPYNB file which I used for this project. This is my Docker file because I have implemented this. I have deployed this project using Docker. So I have a Docker file and all these files. So GitHub is also used for deployment, as I said in the beginning. So I'll show you a demo of this. So I have deployed this application and I am going here to this page where I can give some inputs related to the banknotes, and it will give me the output whether it is an authentic note or not. So I'm after giving the input, I'm saying predict, and it is saying output is 0, which means the note is not authentic. And anyone can access this application using this particular link. So GitHub is used for deploying projects like this as well. So this was an overview of the repository. What is the purpose of a repository and how it looks. So once you log in, how you will create your repository is click on the new option here and give a name to your repository. So for example, I'm saying experiment. All right. You can write a description of the repository as to about what this repository is. You can choose to make it public or private. If you make it public, then anyone out there on internet can see it. If you make it private, only you decide basically who can see this repository, and you are the only person who can make changes to it. And this is add a README file. README file basically tells about the project or about the repository itself, that what this repository is about, which I'll show you once I create this repository. And I think you can skip the other options for the moment and you can hit create repository. Once you create this repository, this is how it's going to look like. So README file contains the word experiment, which is also not correctly written. Now here I can, let's say I am done with a project. So what I can do is I can choose upload files, and then I can choose my files that are related to this particular project and I can upload them here. And then I can share that this link to this repository to anyone out there to access my project, so that they can see that yes, I have done this project, and you show them the files as kind of a proof that yes, I have done something. So this is the way you create a repository and create a GitHub account. Now, there's another thing with GitHub is that you can change these files, these repositories from your local system. And how it works is in the following way. So I have this thing here and I want to make changes to this repository. So I need to clone this repository in my local system first. So I'll go to code and copy this. And for the moment, I'm using VS Code. So I'll show you how it is done. Go to terminal and start a terminal so that we can clone the repository. After cloning it, we'll open this file, which will be this folder, which will be named experiment, and then we can make the changes in the file locally and then can push those changes here over internet on GitHub. So, and now what how this helps you is that you can look into the history of the changes that were made to a particular repository. In that way, you know that what you have done in the past, and if let's say your current version is giving you some issues, so you can go back to your previous version and can go forward from there. So let's say I want to clone my repository, so I'm saying git clone and paste the link that we copied from the repository. It will take some time to copy it, and it says done. So now what I'll do is I'll open this folder. The location of this repository is users admin and experiment. Yeah, here. So the folder name will be same as the repository name on GitHub. Now I select the folder and I open the folder here. Once I open it, it asks if you trust the authors. So I do, and I'll click yes. Now I have this file in here from GitHub. I'll start a new terminal. This is the README file from GitHub. Now let me make some changes here. So I'm saying this is the first line added locally. Okay, this is the change that I have made. Now, if I say git status, the branch is up to date with origin, nothing to commit. Okay, I did not save the changes. So I press Ctrl S, and now if I say git status, it says that the README file has been modified. I have added one line in here and it has been modified. So next what we do is we do git add, and dot represents the current directory. So now we are saying that next time I commit anything, I want to make these changes to this repository. Now, commit meaning that I am saving a snapshot of my project. So this will be a part of my history. So if I, in the future, let's say if I want to go back and see what changes I made to my project, commit is what is making those saving those changes. So it is taking a snapshot that this is what you have done in the past. So I'm, for the moment, I'm just saying that I want to, when I do commit, I need to save some changes. So I'm saying git add and dot. Next I commit it. So I say git commit, and I put a message that what did I change here. So I'm saying the message could be I added a line locally. This is the message. And now these changes are saved locally in my system, but they are not saved here on internet here in my file on GitHub. As you can see, it still shows the README file still has only experiment in it. So to reflect these changes on internet, I need to say git push origin main, and I hit enter. It's taking some time because my system isn't really fast. It is saying that it's done making changes, and let's go to GitHub and see if the changes are reflected here. So I refresh, and you can see that it has changed here. This is the first line, edit locally. So this is how you can make changes in the files on GitHub from your local system, and can look at the history of the files that you modified using Git commands. So this is a little bit about GitHub, and I hope this video would have given you some sense of what this particular platform or the software is in itself.